Good everyone, and welcome to this class. If you can hear me, just make some noise so that I'm so sure everyone can hear me. Right. Welcome to this class. And today we will be discussing the practical steps that is required for mobile filmmaking. And like I said, I hope all of you have done your assignments. If you have not done your assignment, please go to the Lean School app. And go to the Lean School app. You can do your quiz and your assignment. It is so important that you do your assignment because that is how we can grade your learning experience and be sure that you have learned exactly what you are supposed to know. So please, as much as possible, ensure that you do your assignment in the Lean School app, right? So today we'll be discussing the practical tips on mobile filmmaking. So this class is going to be a collection of different tips that we find important that you should know if you are going to be a mobile filmmaker. So why is this important? It's important because these tips will help you not to make mistakes, make you to be able to finish your assignments on time and get you going. So make sure you stay along because everyone has a mobile phone, but not everyone, right, have the tips of becoming a very good mobile filmmaker. And the phone is so powerful. It's a powerful tool in your hand. But the question is, do you really know how to use it? So that brings a question. How many of you know how to have mastered your phone to become a powerful tool for storytelling? So in today's world, camera is in your pocket and it's powerful enough to shoot films, documentaries, skits, viral videos that are seen by millions of people all over the world. But the question is, do you have the knowledge transforming this powerful tool that is in your hand into a, a tool that can be used for learning, for filmmaking, for entertainment, and for learning? That is why we are discussing mobile filmmaking today. So it's quite important, right? So you knowing how to use the camera properly is what makes the difference, right? And we will actually look at the different tips here that will make your shots to be quite cinematic as much as possible, right? Right? So because the way you hold the phone, the way you position the camera, the way you control your movements, the way you also frame your subjects or stabilize even your footage is what will turn your footage from an ordinary one to a cinematic one. And at that point, we are moving on to what storytelling. So this practical guide covers the essential techniques, right? Every aspiring mobile filmmaker needs, right? So let's move on. There is these techniques will do a roll-up of showing you a lot of practical and things you can do, get things how it should be. Let's look on mounting your mobile phone on a mount. If you look at the right-hand side, you will see that look at the camera, the tripod, and the phone. The phone is on the mount already. The question now is, do you really know how to mount this? You see the tripod and the phone being mounted. We will taking a step-by-step guide on how to do that. We are not only going to do a step-by-step guide, we are also going to do a video to show you how to make this happen, right? So if you understand that, let's move. So what is a mount, right? A mobile mount, right, is the hole that grips your phone, and it's attached to the filming equipment. this is quite important, and there are different types of this mount. There are different types of this mount, right? But the job of your mount basically is to do what? Hold your camera to the equipment firmly so that you can shoot. This will eliminate unwanted movements and frees up your hand for other tasks. Compatible equipment that the mounts are compatible includes what? Your tripod, your selfie stick, right? Your stabilizers, your camera rig, and your light stand or boom. If you look at this, what is holding that's thing that grips the phone is what is called what? The camera mic. And if you can look to go closely, it is the top thing that is holding the camera like this. Right? So these are the different parts you should know. You should know the phone clamp. The phone clamp is the part that holds the phone tightly, right? From both sides. And it is the one that applies pressure to keep the phone from slipping or falling during shoot. It's important. Most of you, if you have actually seen a phone mount, you notice that you always see a phone clamp. There's also a screw head at the back, and I'll also try to go back so that you see. If you look at the back of this, let's look at the back of this. I'm drawing an annotation of it, right? So that you could picture it clearly, right? If you look closely, this part I'm drawing is the clamp, right? That's the clamp we are discussing in the other slide. And this is the screw. I'm drawing the screw right away. This is the screw. So from that picture, we have been able to see what? The clamp and the screw. Right? Am I making sense? Okay. Let me clear the annotation. Okay, fine. We have looked at what? The screw and adapter and the tightening what? Knob that you use to, right? Tighten knob to make sure that everything is in place. And once you know the parts, let's look at the steps, right? The very first step is that before inserting the phone into the mount, always perform a quick safety inspection. Remember, we have been talking about safety, right? This simple check, which will last less than 30 seconds, can prevent your phone from falling and breaking. Some of you have very expensive phones, so imagine when this phone fall and break. So we always advise that you should do what? Should, as much as possible, perform a quick safety check. Expect the clamp for cracks or damage. Make sure it is not loose or broken. Confirm the screw part is tight. Then do what? Check whether the mount is attached well to the tripod or stand. So the first thing you should do is to do what? Do the safety check. A faulty mount is the most common cause of phone falling. So always check this before what? Shooting. It's quite important. We have been hammering safety. Now, the next is to attach the mount to the tripod or stand. Is important. So you locate the screw head, right, of the mount. Then the standard screw head should also be on top of the tripod. So if you take the screw head, you can now screw it on top of the tripod, right? This is the universal mounting point. Also, you align the mount, right? Place the mount threaded hole directly over the screw head and do what? Ensure there is proper what? Alignment. First of all, after you have located the screw head, align the mount, then you can now start turning, rotate the what? The mount clockwise until it's completely tight and no longer what? Wobble. So remember, first of all, you need to attach that mount on a tripod or a handheld stand before you put in your phone, right? Then the last thing you do is to what? Text your for wobble. Text to see if that stand is wobbling before you put in your phone. Right? Remember that there are different types of clamp. So you can also expand the clamp. So you expand it to be wide enough so that you can put your phone, right? So, so when you expand that clamp, you can now what? There is always a spring as you're expanding it so that it can always return. Then you can now what? Put your phone. So you open it wide enough so that your phone can fit comfortably. Then you what? You can, that is when you have opened it, is when you can now what? Attach your phone. Then the next is what? Insert your phone. Obviously, that should be the next step, right? Place the phone carefully inside the clamp, paying close attention to its positioning, right? Then the phone should sit at the center of the clamp, not pushed to one side, right? You should also check what? The edge contact. One side of the clamp should also hold one edge of the phone, while the other presses firmly against the other. So the two clamps should be at the two edges. Then level positioning, make sure the phone is not slanted. A slanted phone produces cooked footage that is difficult to fix in editing. After you have done that, you do what? You align the camera properly, right? Camera alignment is one of the most critical steps, right? Align it properly. Make sure that the camera or lens is not blocked by the clamped arm. Because if you look at the clamped arm, right, if you don't take time, it will be blocking the camera. Confirm that the clamp is not covering both side buttons unnecessarily. That ensure the phone is also balanced in the middle of the clamp. Right? Once you have confirmed alignment, the next thing to do is to choose your orientation. Choose whether you are shooting landscape, which is horizontal, or portrait, which is vertical. It is important. Remember that for films, YouTube videos, interviews, and cinematic production, they are always shot on landscape. But TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts are all shot in what? Vertical. And because the verticals dominate social media, mobile. Now, after you have done that, you now tighten the whole thing and secure it, right? We will show you a video of how all this is done after I've explained this, so that you can see practically how this can be achieved, right? And also how you can do it in different phone mounts. So after you have tightened and secured, right, you adjust the angles to be sure that it is tilted normally, it is in the horizontal adjustment or in the vertical adjustment, and you now lock your position. Once you do that, you can now do what? Do your pre-roll. Do a pre-roll and check if everything is okay. And if everything is okay, you can now start what? Shooting. So test stability before shooting. Press record after you have recorded, review your footage before you can now call on action. At this juncture, we will look at a video on how a short video of this. So how to do all the mounts, right? This was produced by the team. So, okay. Now, but now you notice that this is contain both the handheld mount and the kits that where you can actually do two hands. So let's watch this video. I'll start it from the beginning again, and we can watch it. You could see how the mouth looks like after with lighting. So remember we discussed about where you now say you can see down see a rig with the lighting places for you to add light, so that when you are shooting it becomes much easier. So let's look at how to rig this. See. Okay. I okay. Okay. I think we'll add the video is also will also be on the list, but I want to explain what he has been able to do so far. When we watched to the point where you could see how he loosened the the clamp. The right thing you can see here is the clamp. Can you see the clamp there? Right? So once you have the clamp, the next thing is going to do is to what? Extend the clamp so that you can fix the phone. So 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 you now take the phone the smartphone, extend the back of the clamp by loosening the knot at the back. So you can see it loosens it at the back, then stretches up the clamp and extend it. Then take the phone inside the clamp. So the clamp holds the both sides of the phone. As we discussed there, then you now screw it to tighten it at the back. You see the procedure is taking to make that happen, right? So what? And also you should make sure that you don't over tighten it. Now, if you are using this bracket, you can add the LED light, right? And there is a square mount at the back, and if you want to slide the square mount into it, then there is a screw under. You could see he's tightening the screw to make sure that it doesn't shake or fall off, right? Then you can take the second light, slide it in, right? And do exactly the same thing. Next is to fix a microphone. Still have the square mount, and once you can put it at the center, and you can now what screw it in. Once you have added all this, you can now take the mic wire to the headphone port on the phone. And now with the mic ready to go, because you can see the kit is ready. Right. So this is quite a simple kit you can use for your mobile filmmaking. So you can see how easy it is to create and attach, right? Okay. Now we have been able to watch a practical video on how to attach a phone mount and create a kit that you can use for shooting. Okay, let's move on. Now, we have looked at the practical aspects of filmmaking, right? Mobile filmmaking. And the next thing we will want to also look at is what your mobile camera apps. Most of us know that every smartphone comes with a native camera app. The camera app that your smartphone comes with is called what we call the native camera app. But for serious mobile filmmaking, you might need to use third-party camera app that unlocks professional features similar to a DSLR or cinema camera. This app will allow deeper control over how the video is captured, from ISO, shutter speed, to color profiles, and even audio monitoring. And all these are essential for mobile filmmaking in any production environment. Now, knowing this means that we can look at the different apps. The most famous camera app is the Filmic Pro. Is the most famous filmmaking app, right? And we could compare the key features and what's available, right? The key features of the Filmic app is that it has a full manual focus control. It has a manual ISO and shutter speed, right? Then it also has a focus and exposure full controls. Then high bitrate recording. It can also log color profiles for color grading, so you can shoot in log. Then it has external microphone support, right? Right? And it's one of the most widely used, it's one of the most widely used mobile filmmaking apps. And it is both available in both iPhones and Android. And when it comes to professional mobile filmmaking, short films, music video, documentary filming, Filmic Pro is top notch. But one of the also of its weakness is that has a subscription cost and it has a steeper learning curve for beginner. As a beginner, it might be difficult for you to learn it so easily and start using it immediately. But we always recommend and tell you about Filmic Pro and other apps so that you could start trying your hands on them. Another very good app that is free is the Open Camera app. How many of you have used the Open Camera app or have heard about it? If you have heard about the Open Camera app, just let me know on the comment section. Have you heard about the Open Camera app or even the Filmic Pro? Right? You can let us know in the comment section. Just say yes or no. Let me know how many of you have even heard about what this camera app we are discussing. How many of you have heard open app or open camera or the Filmic Pro, you could let us or tell us if you have heard about it. Then also too, while you can let us know while I publish the video we just watched in your chat section. If you go to the chat section, or to publish the video in the chat section, so that if you go to the chat section right now, you can also watch the video, right? Now, so if you are going to be a professional mobile filmmaker, you must know about some of these mobile camera apps. We have discussed what the Filmic app, then the open camera. The open camera is a free open source camera app popular among Android filmmakers. Open camera is an excellent starting point for content creators who want manual control without investing in paid apps right away. So you can use open app without paying because it's open source. And as a beginner in mobile filmmaking, you know that budget is always one of your concerns. So it is best for you as a beginner to download. You can go to Play Store right away and download the Open Camera app. You download the Open Camera app, you will see that it has a whole lot of features that you will not even know that it exists or is capable in the native app. But one of the weaknesses of the Open Camera app is that the interface is less thematic than professional apps and offer fewer advanced filmmaking tools overall. But in as much as it has this weakness, these are the key features. It has manual focus control, manual exposure settings, ISO and white balance controls, built-in video stabilization, then external microphone supports. The strength is that it offers many professional manual controls completely for free. And it is a rare combination, right? Now, moving ahead, let's look at what's the next app. What we are trying to do is to be able to tell you all the apps you could use so that it becomes easy as a mobile filmmaker to know what to use at first time. There's another app called the ProCam X, right? It offers manual ISO. I hope everybody know what ISO is because we discussed it in our last class, right? It's manual ISO, manual shutter speed, manual focus. It also offers exposure control, white balance, right? And one of the good things with ProCam X is that it's a professional app. The app is designed to mimic the DSLR camera control on your smartphone, right? ProCam X gives intermediate mobile filmmakers the familiar feel of operating a traditional camera, and it bridges the gap between smartphone shooting and professional production. The ProCam X is best for photography and video production and intermediate mobile filmmaking. So I know some of you might not have heard about ProCam X, but the weakness is that some of the most useful features are locked behind a paid version. For you to use some of the most useful features, you have to pay. Because the truth is that nothing comes free. You have to pay for most of the things you use. Okay, let's move on. The next camera app we are going to look at is the Moment Pro camera app. Now, the Moment Pro camera app is created by Moment, and it focuses on making high-quality mobile filmmaking lenses. Moment is one of the companies that produces lenses for mobile phones. and it's designed to work seamlessly with external lens attachments, right? The key features of the Moment Pro camera app is that it gives you what full manual camera control. It's focus picking visualization is another thing that it does well. Then histogram monitoring, then anamorphic what lens support. It's a very few camera app supports anamorphic lens. And let's look at the strengths and weaknesses. It is best for filmmakers using external lenses and doing cinematic storytelling. Then also the weakness is that most useful when paired with moment lenses. It is when you use it with moment lenses, right, which is the lenses created by moments, it becomes what? Quite powerful. But without it, sometimes it's becomes very weak in usage, right? It's very less compelling as a standalone app. So let's move on. Okay, let's look at the Blackmagic camera app, right? I hope most of you know about Blackmagic. Blackmagic produces the Blackmagic camera, and they are one of they revolutionized DSLR camera when they came, right? They also have the camera app, right? Because most people know about the Blackmagic design. It's solid camera. They also have a camera app for your smartphones. And the key features of their camera app is that it has cinematic camera interface and controls, advanced color controls, professional recording formats, and it has a deep integration with DaVinci Resolve, which is the editing workflow developed by Blackmagic, right? But the weakness is that currently supports videos only in some versions, so it has limited capabilities. That's one thing with the Blackmagic camera app. Let's at a glance have a comparison, right, of all the apps we have so far discussed, right? Let's look at do a comparison of all the apps we have so far discussed. So if you look at on that table, you see the Filmic Pro. Filmic Pro, which it is best for what? Professional filmmaking, right? But it's paid. Major strength is that it offers full cinema control. We also have the open camera, which is free, right? It is best for free filmmaking. It also offers strong manual control. We have also looked at the ProCam X, right? And which is for both photography and video. And it's premium. It offers free controls, but some of the most useful features is long behind the paid version, right? Then we have also the moment camera, right? The moment camera is what is paid, right? And it offers strong lens integration. Then we now have the Blackmagic camera app, right? Which is free and it has a strong workflow in the Blackmagic and DaVinci Resolve workflow. So important. Okay, now we have what do all these third-party apps we are discussing, what do they do best? Right? The native camera apps, which is the camera apps that phone comes with is designed for casual, everyday users, right? Who want quick snapshots and simple recording, right? But if you want to take your game upward, you need these cinema professional camera apps. Then, because these are the ones that we use for filmmaking. Now, you need to be able to understand the difference between the casual one, the native one, and these advanced third-party apps. If you, as someone who is aspiring as a mobile filmmaker, you must know how to use this third-party camera apps, because they offer more features than just the normal one everyone uses, right? Now, the first advantage of the third-party is the full manual control. Most persons who use a phone camera just set it on auto and shoot. And when you just set it on auto and shoot, you don't have what? Control, right? You don't have control. And assuming you are even shooting a video and it is on auto, you notice that the lights, the ISO can be bouncing up and down, and it will be affecting your shot, right? But when it is manual setting, you can ISO, which controls the light sensitivity, the shutter speed that controls the motion blur, the focus, that is the depth of view, the white balance, and the exposure. Your ability to do all these settings, one of the things that would set apart professional mobile filmmaking from just the casual thing everyone can do. Another strong thing, better how your final also look, right? If you have a bad raw footage, you will also have a bad final edit. If you have a good raw footage, you have more likely possibility of having a good final edit. So the professional camera apps gives you control over the technical quality of your recording in ways that the native apps simply cannot. It gives you higher byte rates, right? You have more data per second, meaning sharper and more detailed footage with less compression, right? Also, you also have log color profiles. That's when they say you are shooting in log, right? You have a flat color profile that captures more dynamic range, giving your colorist who handles your color grading greater flexibility when grading in post-production. You need to do what? Do the focus, right? And that technique is called what the focus was put on, right? So if Mr. A meets Mr. B, I can be focusing on Mr. I can do this switch automatically using third-party native camera apps, right? In this. Also, the third-party apps, which we have mentioned, also offers professional monitoring tools, right? It offers you tools that are not available in your native camera, right? Because professional filmmaking apps provide monitoring overlays that help you make technically accurate decisions on set. And one of these things that it monitors is like this, right? The histogram is, when we talk about histogram, is a graph showing the exposure distribution of your image. And it helps you avoid overexposed highlights or crossword shadows. Another thing that your third-party app does is it creates what they call the zebra stripes. Zebra stripes are the visual overlays that highlight areas of the frames that are overexposed, helping you protect details in bright areas like skin or scalp. Also, when a shot is underexposed, it also shows you what zebra stripes, so that you know that the shots are underexposed, and you can now add more. Also, focus picking, right? This highlight the edges in focus areas, which in contrasting with colors, making precise manual focus much easier to achieve. So focus picking shows focus in contrasting colors so that you could now be able to show, adjust it better and have a better focus shot. Then you also have your audio meters. These are the real-time level indicators that shows when your audio is recording and and if the volume is safe and consistent. And this prevents this distortion or inaudible audio. So that when you are recording and you are looking at your audio meters, you are so sure that audio is being present, what they are recording. Also, another very good advantage of using third-party apps is what support for external equipment, right? The professional camera app support a wider ecosystem of filmmaking accessories. This transforms a simple smartphone into a complete mobile production system, right? One of the things is like external microphones, and I'm not stabilization with app integration and external monitor using what HDMI adapters. It is quite important that we understand this because now we have talked about mobile filmmaking. So as a creative media professional, you should be able to know the apps that you can download and use for your mobile filmmaking, right? Let's move on. In a glance, we are looking at the native versus the filmmaking camera app side by side, so that you can do your compare and contrast, so that tomorrow you know which one to always use. For the native app, you have the automatic exposure. Everything is on auto, right? But we don't want you to be doing auto all the time. But on the filmmaking camera app, you have manual ISO and shutter speed. In the native app, you have automatic focus. In the filmmaking app, you have the manual focus with speaking. In the native app, you have simple one-tap recording. But in the filmmaking apps, camera apps, you have the log color profiles. The filmmaking native camera apps don't have monitoring tools, while the professional filmmaking camera apps have the histogram, the zebra, and the zebra stripes. Then the native app have limited bitrate control, but in the professional filmmaking camera apps, you could also have high bit rates, right? So if you want to just do a point and shoot, right, where you are recording your child smiling or your parents laughing, you can just use the native camera app. But if you really want to do a cinematic shot, you need what? The cinema camera apps. And Filmic, open camera are the top notch you can use. Right? And like we said earlier, use the native camera for casual video recording, quick behind the scenes clips, everyday social media stories, but use the professional camera app for what? Short film and Nollywood skits, YouTube content and vlog, documentaries, music videos, and cinematic storytelling. You could see that the professional mobile camera app gives you far greater creative control. And it can be the difference between a footage that looks amateur and the footage that looks cinematic. So we want you to download, please, at this juncture, I will encourage everyone, download at least one of these cinema camera apps we have discussed, right? So that you can learn it quite well and be using it consistently. It is so important. I won't, yeah, it is one of the things that separates great cinematographers from bad-looking ones, from amateur ones. And I always want to say this, right? It is quite important as you are doing this training, because now I know some of you might be confused. Some of you are hearing the word ISO for the first time. Are hearing shutter speed for the first time. Remember, we are still going deeper into the cinematography, right? Today we are discussing the mobile filmmaking. By next week, we'll be discussing AI filmmaking. And this is one of the areas that many persons have been asking and demanding for. We have had so many inquiries about people asking us for AI storytelling, AI movies, and AI filmmaking, right? Now, after the exposure this week, we are exposing you to AI filmmaking next week. And I know none of you, all of you, I hope most of you are excited. If you're excited hearing about that, please let us know in the comment section, because most people have been asking for that. And we are also making it open. We want you to also invite your friends to join in learning the AI filmmaking. We are trying to make sure, because this whole TVET creative media program is meant to empower Nigerians. The idea is to empower you to be creative and to do creative content, right? So we also want you to please invite your friends to join in the next week AI filmmaking course. It's going to be quite exciting, right? So please, if you're also finding difficult understanding shutter speed ISO, although we have explained it earlier, don't also be overwhelmed, because after the AI filmmaking, we'll be going purely into camera and photography. So that will also further explain it for you, so that we make sure that you have the complete knowledge of how to use a camera shoot, and also how to use your phone and shoot. Okay, now what we are going to look at next is comparing angles. Right? Every shot you do, every shot you do with your phone, you need to look at different angles. We discussed last lesson, that you always be shooting at eye level. So we are going to compare the different shot angles and how their cinematic look. Now, this is quite important, because but this week we are going to compare it and show you in details when to use it, because we are describing what mobile filmmaking. We are explaining how you are going to be a filmmaker that tells cinematic story using your phone. So let's move on. Now, the very first shot we have talked about is the eye level shot. The eye level shot is good, but one of the things about eye level shot is that this is where amateurs get it wrong. They overuse the eye level shot. An eye level shot is what? In eye level shot, the camera is positioned at the same height as the object's eye, right? If you do eye level shots, right, it creates natural and balanced perspective. Yes, if you want to create natural and balanced perspective, you should use eye level shot. But you should, as much as possible, vary your shots. And let's look at how do you achieve it? Right? Because this is important. How do you achieve it using a phone if you want to do an eye level shot? Right? First of all, you adjust the tripod so that the phone lens aligns at the actor's eye level, right? After you have done that, so the phone lens, if you are taking your phone, aligns at the actor's eye level, You stand straight in front of the subject, right? If you are shooting and you take the shots. And one of the things you could do is that you can achieve it with a tripod or a table or even a shelf or even a hand stabilizer. But if you are to do that, make sure that the phone is at the eye level of the person when you are taking that shot. Now, this is just balance. It has no strong emotion, just natural. But apart from this, if you shoot all shots this way, it will be a boring shot. Instead, you mix things up by also doing what we call the low angle shots. Now, look at this low angle shots. You can look at the, let me do an annotation so that you could also see that. Please look at the picture by your right, and you see that the young man wearing a suit is shot at a low angle. One of the things that happens when you see that person is that he looks what? Domineering, right? He's now the dominant force if you look closely, right? Because a low angle shot shows power and dominance, right? And to achieve that, the camera is placed below the subject and pointed what? Upward, right? And that technique makes the character appear powerful, dominant, and heroic. If you want to shoot your superhero, right, always do a shot that makes him dominant in the scene. Unless your hero at that point in time is vulnerable, then you switch it. How do you achieve it? You lower the tripod to knee level or floor level, right? Then you tilt the phone towards your subject. Make sure you tilt the phone. Remember last time, that's why in the last lesson, we taught you about tilting and what? Panning, right? And zooming and dollying in and dollying out. We taught those ones last lesson. So that when we say tilt the phone, you understand what it means. Now, when you can place the phone directly on the ground, right? And lean it slightly forward, upward. That's another technique. You could put a wedge on the ground and place your phone directly on the ground and lean it so that it's at an angle pointing forward, right? Now, if you're in that position, you as a cameraman will either kneel or squat while holding the phone upward. The equipment that is optional you might need might include what? A mini tripod placed on the ground, a ground mount adapter, right? Then also a small box or even a brick for slight what? Elevation. This is one very powerful shot. And if I should zoom it up to see how powerful and domineering that shot is. Just take a good look at it. If this man looks like the dominant alpha male, and this is one of the things we just achieved it by just placing the camera at a low angle. Now let's look at the high angle shot. And what does it depict? It depicts what? Weakness and what? Vulnerability, right? In this case, the camera was positioned above the subject, and the camera is looking downward. Now, this powerful angle makes the subject appear smaller, more vulnerable, and emotionally what? Weakened. It's perfect for scenes that depicts what? Defeat, fear, or being what? Overwhelmed. How do you achieve this shot? You extend the tripod to its maximum what? Height. Then you tilt the phone downwards towards the subject. You can also stand on staircase or a chair or elevated platform. Then you hold the phone above the head and point it downward. You might need a tall tripod or a safety selfie stick or a balcony or even staircase or even a ladder to achieve these shots. And let's have a look at it. You could see how this young man is looking so pitiful and vulnerable, right? So we have looked at this shot. This is a high angle shot. Now let's look at a Dutch angle shot. A Dutch angle shot is when you tilt the camera sideways, right? Making the frame slanted rather than what? Level. This is used for what? Psychological what? Tension, right? An easy way to do this is just to tilt the camera. Once you tilt the camera to take a shot, you are creating what? A Dutch angle shot. Now, look at the next shot is what? The overhead or bird eye what? Shot. This is when the camera is on top, right? This is one of the things that we love about drone shots because they are always overhead what? Shot. The camera is placed directly above the subject, pointing straight downwards. So you can look at that picture, right? What does this camera angle reveal? This dramatic angle reveals the layout of the environment. When you want to show the environment, that is when this is used. And it emphasizes that probably the character you are shooting is what? Isolated. And it also shows the what? The spatial relationship between what? Characters, right? This is very powerful for establishing scenes or what? Dramatic what? Reveal. How do you achieve it? You extend the tripod fully and angle the phone directly what? Downwards, right? You could see, you could also attach it above the subject or even on a staircase or a balcony. You could see, balcony was used here in creating this shot, right? Let's move on. This is a quick reference on what our shot angles, right? Right. One of the things we are also doing in this program is to make sure we give you reference materials that you can always use, right? So that you could always refer to it. If in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time, if you are shooting, you will always come back to this material so that you could do it. And you can always remember, you can always get this material, download this material by going to the Link School app. When you go to the Link School app, you have, and you enroll in this course, you will have access, free access to this course material, and you can always read it and refer to it anytime. If you look at the different shot angles, you have the eye level, it's natural, right? The low angle, if you want to achieve power and what? Dominance. The high angle, if you want to achieve what? Weakness and vulnerability. Now, let's look at a practical exercise you could do later. Please, as a person who is learning mobile filmmaking, you could take your phone, just your normal phone, right? Take a shot at normal eye level, right? Take it at a low angle and take a shot. Take it at a high angle and take a shot and turn it, slant it a little bit and do a Dutch angle shot. And compare, you can show it to your friends and ask them what are the emotions they are feeling getting from the different shots you have done, right? And see if it corresponds with what we have discussed. Now, the next part is we are going to look at, because we are looking at the different practical tips for you as a mobile filmmaker, right? Is how to work with your mobile phone camera for smooth shots. Now, you think that when you hold a camera and you walk normally as you are walking, like most of us walk normally, right? That if you hold your camera phone and you walk normally, the camera will bounce and will create shaky shots. That is what will happen. But if you want a smooth shot, how would you hold your camera, right? Because walking shots, right? If you have to track a character with your camera, you will notice that it is a skill on its own, knowing how to do it properly, right? And as a professional filmmaker, you must know how to use specific body mechanics and mechanics and stabilization techniques to absorb movements that keeps your camera stable. Because at every point, you want your camera to be stable. You won't want to have a shaky shot. But if you don't want to have a shaky shot, you must know how to achieve it. Because it is not just saying that you want a smooth shot. You must know how to walk the walk, right? The very first technique that you do is what we call the ninja walk technique. The ninja walk techniques, right, is the foundation for smooth walking shots, right? As you are walking and taking shots. Because instead of walking normally, you move slowly and softly, right? Like a ninja walking across a wooden floor without making a sound. The very first part of it is that your leg absorbs all the shock before it reaches the camera. That is one technique one part of the ninja walk technique, right? So how do you do that? You bend your knees slightly and you walk heel to toe slowly, right? Remember, your knee has to be bent slightly, and you walk heel towards toe slowly. You keep your body slightly lowered. You don't walk with your full height. Your body has to be slightly lowered. And you hold the phone with both hands, right? Also, you keep your elbows close to your body. Why does it work? Bending your knees allows your legs to act as a natural shock absorber, preventing sudden vertical movements from transferring to the camera. So you must learn to bend your knee while you are walking, if you're holding your camera, right? And this is best for tracking shots that you are when you're pulling your camera. Walking conversation scenes where the characters are walking while talking. Then documentary style filming on the move, and any handheld moving shots. The ninja walk technique is a technique you must master. It is a must if you are going to be a mobile filmmaker, because it's important. Because in most cases, if you don't know how to do this ninja walk technique, you must have a stabilizer, right? And you could do your two-hand stabilization grid. If you have to stabilize your shot and make sure that it's smooth, you must grip it with two hands, not just one hand, right? Holding the phone with two hands instead of one dramatically improves stability by distributing weight and increasing your grip surface. It's important. You see, this is a simple trick, right? If you hold your phone with one hand and do a tracking shot, it will not be as smooth as when you hold it with two hands. Just holding with the two hands, right, already improves the shot. You can see this is a very practical tip, right? And as a beginner, it is one of the easiest ways to improve your shots. And how do you do that? You hold the phone with both hands firmly. You keep your thumbs. You press your elbows firmly against your body, and you move your entire body slowly, not just your arms. Your entire body has to move. Why it works? Your body becomes a natural stabilizer, while your elbow locks against your torso, prevents sudden hand movements. So this also dampens any movement and prevents it from reaching to the camera or the lens. So two-hand stabilization grip is important. It's another important arsenal. We have looked at, first of all, your ninja walk technique and your two-hand stabilization grip. Now, the next technique is your body glide technique. where you're gliding your body from left to right or right to what? Left. So instead of stepping with force and impact, your body glides forwards as if what is moving in a frictionless what surface, right? It's important. The body glide technique is important where you are gliding your body forward, right? Smoothly instead of moving, right? So how do you do that? You walk slowly and what? Deliberately. You keep your what? Upper body completely steady, right? Let your legs do all absorb of the whole movement. So your leg should be doing the absorbing of the movements, right? That as you are doing it, you should be imagine what? Sliding forward, not stepping. So you could take your one leg in the front, then what? Glide with your camera, right? We will send you a video later on this, right? Why it works. Normal walking creates rhythm, up and down bounce in every step. But when you do your glide techniques, right, it has a consistent height and you could just glide and do a very smooth tracking shot. Another thing you could do is to do what? Use what? A smartphone what? Gimbal. We have discussed it. A gimbal stabilizer is what? Is a mechanical device that electronically what? Stabilizes the phone on 3 axes. The motor inside the gimbal continuously counteracts any unwanted what? Movements. And it helps produce what? Better smooth footage, regardless of how you move. Benefits of the gimbal include that it removes shakes and vibration automatically, creates smooth cinematic motion, is ideal for tracking shots and action sequence, and works even at faster walking speed. And let's look at popular mobile gimbals. This includes the DJI Osmo Mobile. This is the industry standard and excellent stabilization gimbal, right? You have the Zenus Smooth gimbal, which offers rich stabilization with long battery life. You have the Cohem iSteady gimbal, which is a budget-friendly entry-level option. Now, always use gimbal for higher productions like music video, short films and skits, cinematic sequence, and action scenes. If you are to do an action scene, you can't miss having a gimbal. You see how the gimbal looks, right? And how it's being used with the phone. Okay, let's move on. There is also another technique called the shoulder braced walking technique, right? Here, you wear a braced stabilization equipment on your shoulders, right? And you use your own torso, your own chest and torso for the stabilization, right? So in this case, you are going to use your torso as a stabilizing platform by keeping the phone close to your chest and locking your arms slightly against your body. This mimics the effect of professional shoulder mount camera rig at 0 watts. It is important. This works quite well. So how do you do that? You hold the phone firmly with both hands. You bring the phone closely to your chest. Keep your elbows locked tightly against your body, right? Let me zoom this picture. You could see. Look at the elbows of this person. You could see that he's locked tightly to his body. It doesn't spread out. That's what we are discussing. When we say lock your elbow tightly to your body so that it forms one single unit, right? And reduces the available motion that can happen. Right? So why does it work? Your torso, which is the largest and the most stable part of your body, becomes the stabilizing platform, reducing the handshakes and that will have occurred, and it's result in a very smooth footage, right? Another technique you could use is what we call the what? Follow distance what? Technique. When we discuss the follow distance technique, it means maintaining a consistent distance from the subject while walking. If your subject is walking, you must maintain a consistent follow distance, right? This creates what? Smooth, professional tracking shots that feels intentional and cinematic. So it's important. If your character is walking and you are filming the person, you maintain the same consistent distance with subjects. Right? So how do you do that? Establish a fixed distance from the subject before starting. That is important. Move at slightly the same speed as subject, then avoid sudden changes in direction or places. And another thing you must also do is that you need to walk smoothly using your ninja walk. And for you to achieve this, you have to rehearse it, right? Rehearse it, practice it with the person often so that it becomes easier for you to actually have a consistent follow distance. Now let's look at common mistakes when working with a phone, when you are shooting with a phone, doing your working shot with a phone. To avoid all these things we are mentioning at all cost. The first thing to avoid is walking too fast. If you are walking quite fast, any movement, right, or vibration will be amplified by your speed, by the speed, and it will lead to camera shakes. Also, avoid holding the phone with one hand. We have mentioned this. Please, while shooting, avoid holding the phone with one hand. Always hold the phone with two hands while shooting. The next is locking your knees, right? When we say lock knees, it's straight lock knees, right? Don't walk with that. Always bend the knees, right? Like a ninja walking. Then also don't do sudden turning movements. Abort turns create jarring jolts and ruins otherwise good shots. So when you create an abort turn, it will ruin your footage. Also, don't do heavy steps. Don't do heavy steps, right? Try as much as possible. In your ninja walk, remember we tell you is to heel to toe, right? Don't do heavy Don't do heavy steps because it will ruin your shot. Now, all these things we have discussed, always learn that you need to practice, right? Practice, practice, practice. You cannot learn the ninja walk technique by just not practicing. So you could take your phone and do a footage, do your normal walking with it, right? After your normal walking, do your ninja walk technique, which is the bend your knees, heel to toe, right? Elbow tucked, and slow, deliberate movement, and see the difference. And also do your always at every point. We have to, don't make that mistake. Always hold the phone with two hands. We know we go right enough for one hand, but holding the phone with two hands helps realize it better for better cinematic shots, right? Now, let's look at the golden rule of mobile film, right? One of the things you need to learn, that's a recap of everything we have learned in this class so far, is move your body, not just your camera, right? Smooth walking is so important because for you to do any walking shot, it depends on how you move your body, not the camera, right? If you move your body quite well, the camera will actually move smoothly, right? So even without expensive equipment like gimbals or rigs, using proper body movement techniques like bent knees, two-hand grip, gliding motion, controlled pace can produce genuinely cinematic mobile footage that rivals professional production. Master your body first, then let the tools elevate your craft. Also, you have to also master your mount. A properly secured phone is the foundation of every great shot. Check for safety, tighten and test before every take. Control your camera, use professional apps to take manual control of the focus, exposure, ISO, and color, right? That's the tool of a true filmmaker. You must also learn to choose your shots rightly. So, because a proper angle is important for your storytelling. For you to tell a good story, you must use the right shots at the proper angle. Then, while moving your camera, move what with intention. Walk like a ninja, grip with 2 hands. Glide, don't stomp. Let your body be the stabilizer, not the. So you can use your body as a stabilizer to create the shots that you desire. So at this juncture, we'll be open forward questions. And if you have enjoyed the presentation so far, please let us know with a round of applause. Please clap so that we feel encouraged. Right? All right. So let the applause keep coming so that we'll be encouraged and we can keep producing this awesome content. It takes a whole lot of energy to produce this. Definitely. Right? Okay, fine. If you're on YouTube, you could also show appreciation by actually using your emoji buttons. That will also be appreciated, right? And feel appreciated. So we'll also do that on YouTube. Okay, at this juncture, we will make it open for you to ask your questions. Please ask your questions. Okay, let me start taking the questions. Prince Ugozo Child Chibozo is saying, may you give us recommendations of professional apps we may see on Apple Store for control of our cameras? I think I've mentioned that in this particular presentation, which I mentioned the Filmic app, I mentioned the Open Camera app. We also have so the Filmic is one of the most important, the Blackmagic camera app. These are different camera apps that you can find in your Apple Store. So feel free to download any one of them and look at their interfaces and also learn. Right? Okay, so Xiaomi is saying, sir, I want more light on ISO and others. ISO is the feature of your phone that controls how much light enters the camera, right? Now, at lower ratings, you will have a dark scene. If you increase the ISO, you will have a lighter scene. But by increasing the ISO, you will also risk making the whole picture to be grainy. Now, we will also do a deep dive on ISO and all those other settings when we move into the photography session of this training, right? So we have discussed ISO twice on this. We have talked about now. We have talked about it earlier at the beginning of the program, right? And you can also search ISO. You can also go to this particular slide and look up ISO, because this particular slide I used, you can also get it on Link School. Please, if you're also on YouTube, you can also ask your question on YouTube. Then someone is asking, Deborah Wilcox is asking, are the apps free to use? Some of them are, some of them are not. The Open Camera app is a free camera app, professional camera app. Right? So it's important. Then Okechukwu Amaza is saying, what's the meaning of ISO? ISO is the International Standard Organization, right? That's the full, if you are looking for the acronym itself. They provide numbering for different things. But it is the numbering they provided for lighting is what is now being used as like this ISO, right? So that's what it is. I know many people will be shouting the ISO, ISO, ISO. It is one of the things we always hear when you focus teachings cinematography. So okay. Okay. Someone is asking what's the best app for filming. I mentioned all of them. Filmic, Blackmagic, all those ones are good, right? Alabwe Adebora Gideon is saying, please, I couldn't get the assignment. Give to us. How do I get it? To get the assignment, you go to the Link School app. Download the Link School app on Play Store, right? Enroll on this. You will see this particular course on it. Go to programs. You will see the assignments there. Every of the lessons we do have their assignments. Emelda Etim is saying, I just got an email to join yesterday. How do I catch up? Every of the training we have done is available on the Link School app. So download the Link School app, right? Once you download the Link School app, you will have the this thing to the recorded video, to the material I used for the training, to the assignments, and also you have access also to the quiz. So it is important. So please, if you have not downloaded the Link School app, please do that. Ahmad Mohammed is saying, what are the crucial accessories? We mentioned the crucial accessories last time, which is the phone, your mounts, your gimbals, right, for stabilization, right? Your phone, your ring lights, lighting equipment is important. Then your stabilization equipment, like your gimbal, is also quite important. But even if you don't have any other of these things, with just a proper phone, you can also start your mobile filmmaking. But you now learn how to use natural lights to make sure that you use natural lights. Yakubu Duo Audu said, my apps keep marking me absent despite attending the session. If you want your app to mark you present, right, join this session. Either you're joining on Zoom, on YouTube Live, join it from the app. Go to the app and click join the Zoom or join this thing. Then the app will know that you join to. Once you join any of these lessons, the Zoom or this thing, through the app, the app will mark you present, right? Okay. Are there further questions? I hope I've answered your question, Yakubu. Yakubu Awudu. Okay. If you have more questions, please ask. If not, we might call it a day. Okay. Do we have further questions? Do we have further questions? Okay. Mohammed Yero Isa is saying attendance, please. Attendance is through the app. If you go to the app itself and join these sessions through the app, it will mark your attendance, like I said earlier. So instead of joining through the link, just link on the WhatsApp, go to the Lean School app. Once it's for, go to the Lean School app and join from the Lean School app. In that case, the app will mark your attendance. All right. Okay. Popeyes iPhone is asking, how about iPhone users, sir? We have had multiple challenges with iPhone, but we are hoping to have even concluded uploading last time before the end of the month. We uploaded, but it was having Apple developer program is still giving us issues with accepting the app. But we hope that within a week time, we know we have all been talking about a week, but that's what we have been hoping, because we have been uploading all this while to make sure that we have we certify the iPhone users, right? So let's see how within 1 week if Apple will approve our last submission. Once they approve our last submission, we will have it on Apple Store, and everyone, all of you guys can use it. All iPhone users can use it. Heritage is saying I joined through WhatsApp group link, not the app. You are okay, but you won't be marked. Your attendance will not be marked. That's the only thing, right? If you join through the app, it will mark. If you look at the app, you see where you have performance, right? But one of the things we also say is that you doing your assignment and quiz is whether you are thumbs over just attending, doing the attendance from the app. The most important thing we always emphasize is that you need to do your quiz and your assignment. Once you do that, it is also recorded as what? It's also recorded as what? An attendance. No, Kings is saying we weren't asked to join to the app earlier. It's not a big deal in as much as you are doing your quiz and assignments. It's only a big deal if you are not doing your quiz and assignment. If you are doing your quiz and assignment and you did not have, you have 0 attendance, it is still marked as good, right? So that's why nobody was pushing on that you must join through the app. But if you want to see your attendance marked in the app, join through the app. Dr. Helen is saying, yeah, please, I pay for subscription on the app, but it's showing not subscribe. Please, the app, you are not paying for any subscription on the app, please. If you are paying for any subscription, it is for a different thing. Maybe it's for a CBT app. The Lean School app also provides CBT for people who want to do JAMB and take different exams and things like that. So if you pay for a subscription, and the app is free, you don't pay for any subscription, right? Unless you are on a different app. So I think I answered Dr. Helen Boma. I think I've answered your question, right? And maybe you are using iPhone. If you are using iPhone, then it might not be the Lean School app we are discussing. Okay. I think there is no more questions. Okay. Then okay, so No, please, there is no payment on the app. Oh. This is completely free. There is no time, there's no time we said anybody should pay. We have been hammering this thing from the beginning. So if you paid on the app, maybe you paid for the CBT, not to join not for the program, and it's a different service altogether. Prince Ugoza is saying, may you describe the Dutch angle shot? I don't know why the picture for the Dutch angle shot did not come up. I know that might be this thing there. But for the Dutch angle shot, it's just tilting your camera at an angle. Instead of putting it vertical or horizontal, you tilt it at an angle, maybe 30 degrees or 20 degrees, and take a shot. Once you tilt it and take a shot, right, it is called the Dutch angle, right? So I hope that answers your question, right? Okay. Adeneyi Olusegun is asking, is there an average mark to be qualified before someone can move to the next stage? The average mark is 65%. I think we have mentioned it a couple of times in this program. 65%, right? Okay. So I think at this juncture, I've answered all the questions. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely weekend, right? I'll sign off from here. And if you have enjoyed it, you can let us know. You can, the round of applause can continue, please, also. Yeah. I'm leaving. You can continue.